I don't know that we need to look at an international solution. She could spend a lot of time mediating between dairy farmers and everybody else. Not bagging them, there are obviously some very good ones. And we've spent a lot of time, we're doing a new series on, I'm the son of a dairy farmer, so there are some good ones. We've spent a lot of time in the series we're filming at the moment looking at water issues, and people think, oh, it must be glamorous, you get to go to places like Peru and stare at glaciers, and I go, yep, but we also get to go to Palmerston North and spend a lot of time looking at their effluent treatment station. The glamour. And they're using, it's fascinating, I don't know if anyone here is doing any algae research into algae. They're looking at algae that can live there and pick up phosphorus, and then we can harvest it. Absolutely fascinating. But why we had to go and look at the effluent treatment station for 3.5 hours, I do not know. And they said, oh, we have a little dinghy that sometimes we row out onto it. I said, wow, your department has a dinghy. They said, no, geology has a dinghy, we borrow theirs. And don't tell them what we use it for. So ladies and gentlemen, from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, I think that's the third of that faculty so far this evening, looking at violent video games, a how-to guide for serial killers, or plain innocent fun? A question I know many of us ask ourselves every time we lose ourselves in one of those games. The research investigates players' experience of violent video games by focusing on the different ways they understand and engage with the violent game content. Will you please welcome to the stage Jasper Van Vught.
I have a confession to make. I killed over 150 people this week. Some of them I ran over with my car, but most of them I decapitated with my samurai sword. Now, before you take out your phones and start calling the police, I will admit that I committed these acts of violence in a video game, so you shouldn't be worried. Although, there is a significant body of research that argues that playing violent games leads to aggressive behavior. So perhaps you should be worried. Luckily for you and for me, there's about the same body of research that argues that there is no such relationship. But that makes you wonder, right? Who's telling the truth? Are these games affecting me or not? Are they slowly turning me into a serial killer? Or am I just having innocent fun? Now, when you read through these studies, you will probably note one important problem with almost all of them. And that is, they do not explain what it means to experience the violence within a game context. In other words, what makes game violence different from real-world violence, or even film violence for that matter? Let me try to show the importance of this by appealing to your imagination. First, imagine that you're watching a film where your beloved character gets brutally murdered while you stand by helplessly, like this shower scene from Psycho here. Now, on the other hand, imagine that you're holding a toy gun and you're engaging in a game of cowboys and Indians with someone else in the audience. Finally, imagine that you're holding an actual gun and that you're shooting me. It's okay, I can take that. Now, if this small experiment worked and my hypothesis is correct, you will admit that these are three very different experiences with very different impacts. Now, what this should make clear is that it's very important to understand how we understand the violence and how we engage with it. So, for video games, we may then wonder, is playing a violent game a sort of intensified film experience, where we may act violently close to how we can even act in real life? Or is it a very different type of experience, closer to traditional games and play, where we may mock fight, like the playful bite of a dog? My research attempts to answer these questions by extensively talking to players about how they see their cause and context of their excitement or frustration, or their motivation behind certain violent actions. Together with more empirical data, like heart rate measurements, this should finally give us a better understanding of the actual impact that violent games have. And, hopefully before it's too late, I will be able to tell you whether all my violent gameplay is slowly turning me into a serial killer, or whether I'm just having innocent fun. Thank you.